Hello everyone, my name is Helga and you're on my anime channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about the upcoming anime season. We're going to look at the most anticipated titles according to various resources, and I'll tell you my predictions about their performances. So without further ado, let's go! I'm not going to be talking about the continuing titles, the previous seasons of which I haven't seen, because it doesn't quite make sense. However, I'll mention the continuations that I'm going to be watching this season. The first one is Moriarty the Patriot. I have enjoyed this show so far. The premise of two geniuses competing with each other and trying to stand for their own morals fascinates me a lot. There are some questionable actions done by the main character, but I think we're supposed to realize that he's not exactly the hero of the series and leans more toward the evil side, same as in the original novels about Sherlock Holmes. The second show is actually not a continuation, but a reboot of a very famous anime series from my childhood called Shaman King. The difference between the first adaptation and this one is gonna be the following. When they were making the first series, the manga that the show was based on hadn't fully come out yet. That's why they had to end it abruptly. But this time, we're going to see the true ending of the story. And I used to really love this series, that's why I'm definitely checking out this new version. If you are not familiar with the plot, it's about a boy longing to become the king of all shamans. He meets a lot of new friends along the way, and I think their characters are really interesting to follow. My favorite one used to be Runosuke Umemiya, aka Ryo in the English and Russian dub. By the way, I'm really curious if this time they are going to keep the original names of the characters. If you didn't already know, the American TV companies used to change the Japanese names of the characters to the ones that, in their opinion, were easier to hear and pronounce. And what is even worse, the Russian TV companies use the American versions in our Russian dub, which doesn't make any freaking sense, because for us as Russian kids, American names weren't necessarily more common than the Japanese ones. And in general, I think that this type of censorship, as well as changing the design of foods as they did in Pokemon, for example, is really weird. I mean, people should learn about other cultures from a young age in order to become more educated. That's why I hope that the streaming services will fix this for Shaman King this time. And now let's go on to talk about the new series of the upcoming anime season. The first one is called Please Don't Bully Me, Nagatoro. It's about a shy boy who is being teased by his female schoolmate, who constantly forces him into doing things that make him feel uncomfortable. I don't usually enjoy anime with an aggressive bullying type female character. I think the only exception is the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, but I feel like this show is not gonna become the second one. So I'll probably pass on it. The only thing is that I hear people talk a lot about it and I like what they say. I'll probably check out a couple of episodes. The next series is called To You the Immortal, and according to its premise, it's going to be kind of an existential drama with some fantasy elements. It talks about a creature that can imitate the shape of those around that have strong life energy. At first, it imitates a stone, then a wolf, whose owner it makes a strong connection with, and then the owner himself after his death. Being in the body of this boy, it learns what it means to be human. It sounds quite melancholic, even a little depressing, but I'm really interested how this concept unravels in the show. That's why I'm planning on watching it. The next show's description sounds quite controversial, and honestly, I have no idea what they are going to do with this kind of premise. It tells the story about an office worker who gets denied by his colleague to whom he confessed his feelings to, and after that meets a high school girl who escaped from home and has nowhere to go. So he lets her into his apartment and they start living together. The listed genres are drama and romance, and as I've mentioned, I don't know what to expect from this title, so if it's on the streaming services that I'm subscribed to, I'll check it out. And this title also has the weirdest name ever, which is I Shaved, Then I Brought a High School Girl Home. which is, I think, one of the weirdest anime titles that I have ever heard. And we have a kind of a similar romance title this season because it also talks about the relationship of characters with a significant age gap, which is called It's Too Sick to Call This Love. However, I've heard that in this one there is gonna be a very pushy male lead, and I'm not usually into such characters, so this one I'm not sure about at all. But I'm definitely checking out the next title, which is called I Have Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years and Maxed Out My Level. It's about a girl who died from overworking in our world. So when she got reincarnated in a new one, she decided to take it easy. However, after many years, she turned out to be the strongest of all creatures around. And of course, everyone wanted to get to know her or to ask her favors or to fight her. And that's how her quiet life in a new world came to an end. The next anime that I'm also curious about is Tokyo Revengers. It's a story about a young man whose ex-girlfriend was killed by a gang. Being devastated, he finds himself traveling through time, and of course he will try to change the past in order to prevent the awful event from happening in the future. I love time travel stories. I even loved Erased, although I understand that it had a lot of problems. So at least I hope that this show won't fail as badly as Orange did. The next title is called The Rom-Com Where the Childhood Friend Won't Lose, and you can guess pretty much everything from its name. I'm not sure how I feel about it because I guess there have been enough shows where childhood friends ended up together. So I'm not sure if this premise deserves to be emphasized like this. That's why I suppose it's gonna be just your typical high school romance show, and I'm not sure if I'm interested enough to check it out. If you're familiar with the source material and like it, try to convince me otherwise in the comments below. One more interesting show from the spring season is called Shadow's House. It's about a mysterious mansion of a woman without a face who is accompanied by living dolls helping her with house chores. And the story is supposed to be told from the perspective of one of these dolls. So I think it's gonna be really intriguing. The main genre listed is slice of life, but I really hope that there is gonna be some kind of supernatural mystery as well. A show with such description could be a great thriller, but we'll see what it's really all about. Another anime that I'm interested to check out this spring is about music, specifically the Japanese string instrument called shamisen. I really love the sound of it, especially together with some rock instruments like electric guitars and the drums. I don't think that they will include this type of music into the show. I suppose it's gonna be just about traditional Japanese music, but I'm still curious to watch it. There is also an anime about Godzilla coming out, which will show an original story about a team of young geniuses fighting against the monster. I don't know what to expect from this one, but I guess I'll check it out just to share my thoughts with you. I guess it's cool that they are making a new anime about such a famous Japanese character, so I can't miss it. Another title competing in the context of weirdest names is the ultimate next-gen full dive RPG is even shittier than real life. It sounds funny, but I'm not usually into the RPG genre. However, most likely my husband will force me into watching it with him, so we'll see if it's at least going to be entertaining. And talking about computer games, there is an animated adaptation of the game Dota 2 in the anime kind of style coming out on Netflix. I have never played this game, but I know that it's a huge cultural phenomenon, so I'll probably check it out. I hope it will be beginner friendly. So this is it for my spring anime predictions video. If I've missed some titles that you're anticipating this spring, tell me about them in the comment section. Also share the titles that you're going to watch this spring in general. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more anime related content, click the little bell icon to get notified when I post new videos, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye!